What's up, everybody? Ben here. Today, I'm going to introduce you to my next project. This is a 1997 Chevrolet Tahoe. In high school, I had a 91 single cab step side that was like a gold color, it was like tan. And I have craved an OBS project for years now. I would love to find a nice single cab. I have also been searching for two-doors Tahoe Blazers. And so this one came up for sale in Odessa, Texas, which is just a couple hours from me. A friend of a friend had it, and I called him within an hour of him listing it, and I bought it the next day. I drove down there and bought it the next day. The colors are right. I wanted a gray interior, and the exterior, I just didn't want one of the weird colors. So white is a good base. I have a lot of white vehicles now, more than I want, but I think white's kind of a plain color, but it looks really clean, so I'm gonna roll with it. This thing is all original. It has not been messed with. The guy I bought it from put new carpet in it. It's kind of a funny story. The way he bought it is he saw it on the side of the road, and like the original owner had 150,000 miles or 130,000 miles on it or something like that, and it died on the side of the road, and he just left it there. And anyways, the guy I bought it from is a car guy, and he saw it and made a deal with the guy, and he went and picked it up from the side of the road. We got the title signed from him. But this thing has all kinds of nostalgia for me. I just love these 90s trucks from GM. They're called OBS. That's kind of like a nickname for old body style. And it's the 88 to 98 models. And I mean, how much more 1990s are you gonna get other than having the heartbeat of America right there? Boom, I love it, I love it. Still has the, still has all the factory moldings, still has the factory, or not the factory, but the dealer tag. So, pretty interesting. So it's officially 25 years old, so it qualifies for an antique automobile plate. I thought that was neat. This is the first vehicle I've ever registered as an antique. So that was the plates from the previous owner. My new plates just came in, but I love it. And it's funny because my my appetite has been just growing here lately, because I've been watching Killer Performance do these awesome OBS builds, and they just did this green Tahoe for Cletus McFarlane. And so I've been watching every one of these videos. They did a teal single cab short wide last year, and then they did a red ZR. They call it the ZR 1500. It was a red one with an LT5 swap and everything. But I actually tried to buy the red single cab truck from them, the ZR 1500, because he listed it for sale. And it was awesome. I love the teal truck. It was actually my favorite one, but he has not sold it yet, the owner of Killer Performance. Anyways, but they're like setting records with their sixth gen Camaro that's orange, and they call it Nemo. And then they just did this Tahoe build. So that's kind of what I'm using for inspiration. I love the look and everything. I know I'm gonna go all body color. I don't like chrome. I'm gonna get rid of the chrome. I'm gonna get rid of the trim. So I'm gonna smooth it all up. Since this vehicle has 150,000 miles, it's past like any kind of collector status or anything like that. In my opinion, there's no need to keep it all original, unless that's just somebody's preference. This trim, it has some rust on the top of it. You know, this thing's been driven, you know, so this is not like a show quality nothing. I mean, it is flawed in a few ways. It had a bug guard on it at one point in time, so the paint is not fantastic. I think there's one panel that has been painted. I'm not sure, but there's some flaws and whatever in some areas. So it's gonna definitely need paint work. It came with 2 sets of these wheels. These wheels were a nice little perk. I'm not gonna leave these wheels on it, but these are actually the Silverado Sport wheels. So they came on the 454 SS, and then I think these same wheels came on the 350 SS, which was like a sport trim level that you could get on a regular Silverado. But the fact that this thing is all original is just, it's funny. I mean, look at this. It's just such a throwback for me. I mean, this is the way this is what I was around, you know, whenever I was growing up. This is a 1997 model. And so I was 17 years old whenever this came out. And 97 was was in the year model range that had like the peak for OBS. Because the OBS body style came out in 88 on the trucks, and I think it was 89 for the SUVs, which was really just a Suburban at that time. And 95 is when they came out with the new dashboard. It's a new interior, and it was kind of like the in-between year. And then 96 is when they came out with full Vortec engines and kind of the latest evolution, especially in the SUVs. Sorry, it's kind of dark in here. I don't have a light on. But this one is pretty well optioned out. Has a overhead console, which is very basic by today's standards. Lower console, bucket seats. I'm not sure how far I'm gonna go on the interior. I know I'm gonna do a nice stereo in it. That's what I did in these year models whenever I was 16, 17, 18 years old. I worked at a car stereo shop that my best friend owned. And it's just what I did. I wasn't interested in school. I didn't do very well in school, never really cared about my grades, but man, I wanted to go to the shop every single day. And so a lot of that time was in the car stereo shop, sometimes a wood shop, sometimes mechanic shop. And so this is just, I just feel like I'm a teenager again around this thing already. So I believe it's all original glass as well. You can see this windshield has some of that. That's kind of typical for these year models. There's a little ding in the body. So I'm going to pop the hood, and then I'm gonna raise it up and we'll look underneath. Let's see here. So like I said, this is a 97 model. So the year before this was 96, and that's when they started Vortec. So that's this Vortec 350. This one is not all original. Whenever it was busted on the side of the road, the previous owner had to put a new long block in it. So that bottom end is different than the OEM one. It's probably not numbers matching, but here you go. It's just the way it is. So 95 and down models did not have all of this over here. These electronics were new for the Vortec generation. So it's still kind of old school. It is, you know, a throttle body. It is fuel injected. It's not like it's carbureted or anything. The very, very first of the OBS body style, like the 88, 89s, I think they were still carbureted. I'm not 100% sure about that. Maybe not. Maybe that was done in square bodies. I just can't remember. But I'm gonna freshen up a lot of this. I don't know how far I'm gonna go with this truck, but I do know I'm going to smooth it out, body color, grill and bumpers, get rid of the emblems and the trim. Obviously it needs a new grill here to make that right. I know I wanna put a stereo in it, and I really want to swap it. So I've been, like I say, watching Killer Performance do all their OBS builds, and I'm just dying to do something like that. So they're doing LT swaps, LT1 or LT4s is what they're doing in all of theirs. So like what's in this Camaro, the 6th gen Camaro. So I'm really thinking about doing something like that. That's a $25,000 project to swap a crate LT4 and 10-speed in it. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna go that far with it. It's funny though, Carter and I, my son Carter, we just started doing our first projects work on his 2020 Camaro SS. It has a LT1 and 10-speed auto. We just put new exhaust on it and it looks awesome, sounds awesome. But we're already starting to think about his car long term. So I'm actually considering taking that powertrain out and putting it in my Tahoe. And then we might put something big in his Camaro. Not really sure, but I need him to get further along before I put him in a 800 horsepower Camaro or something like that. So he's a good kid and he has a good head on his shoulders. And so I like that he's doing car stuff and he's not a complete idiot. So that's, that's important before you put a kid in a really fast Camaro. Okay, so I'm gonna lift this thing up and look underneath. Okay, so here it is up in the air. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take off this hitch right now while it's up in the air. But looks like it's got new shocks have been put on it. It's about the only thing that looks new underneath it. I don't see any like body rust and stuff. Everything's dirty. There is some surface, wear and rust on the frame, but I mean it's just grimy. The whole thing has road grime on it. It's been daily driven for a long time with this many miles and this much age on it. I anticipate redoing all the suspension, all the powertrain, and all the brakes. So I really don't care about the condition of those components. I want the big stuff like the frame to be good and the body to be good. And the interior I intend to keep mostly original. I will do a stereo. But there's a lot of surface rust. I don't think that's really a big deal, but to me, that means I'm probably gonna have to do a frame off rebuild of this. Fuel filter looks like it's been replaced before. Frame off rebuild on an SUV, an OBS SUV, I think is more difficult than a truck because the bed and the cab are not separated. So I've never done anything like that. I've never done that much of a build before. So I'm not sure how much of this I'm gonna do myself, but I know that's what I want. I think I can do it. I just think it's gonna cost me 2 years to do it if I do it all myself. So I might try to do certain parts myself, but then send off other parts of it. So like I say, new shocks, you can tell those are new. Lots of oil leaks going on. I don't know if that's on the new long block or looks like maybe a power steering pump, whatever. None of that matters to me. I'm gonna swap it all out. I feel like that stuff is all just gonna go. So here it is. Let's see where she goes, and let's see how far I take it and how much I'm gonna do with it. But I can't wait to see what happens. I'm gonna finish watching the rest of Killer Performance's YouTube channel about their Tahoe and see, because they did not do a frame off rebuild on theirs like they do all their OBS trucks. So, and they used a different brand suspension than they have on the other trucks. And so there's some things there that are different challenges that the trucks don't have, that the SUVs do have. So I'll see if I can weigh my options, but I think I'm gonna have to take the body off the frame, and then I wanna take the frame to get media blasted and then powder coated or painted or whatever they do. But I mean, look at the gunk just piled up on these components. So it's definitely seen some time on the road. And I want to freshen up the whole thing and make it nice and slick. And I think in order to do that and satisfy my OCD, I'm gonna have to take the frame off. So here we go. I'm not sure if it's gonna be an LT swap, like something that this Camaro has, or like I said, my son's Camaro, pulling that powertrain out, or if I'm gonna do an LS swap, like the 5th gen Camaros have. We'll see. Let me know in the comments if you have a suggestion or if you have any experience with swapping OBS SUVs. I'd be interested to find out what I really shouldn't get into, or what's good, what's bad. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.